Speaking of heat, it's not just in those summer months that you need to protect your skin from the sun, but the question is, do those brush-on powder sunscreens work as well as traditional creams? Our good friend, dermatologist Dr. Sonia Batra, is going to help us answer that question. And Dr. Batra, you have a funky device back there. What are you doing?
I have Cassie and Caitlin here, who before the show tested out a traditional broad-spectrum SPF cream sunscreen and compared it to a brush-on powder sunscreen. So this apparatus is the Vizia camera, and it helps us see how well the sunscreens are actually protecting us from the UV. And with a full face, protection looks much darker. So if you're getting adequate UV protection, the face should look darker. And we're actually just about to finish up Cassie's last scan. So I'm going to have you go ahead and put your chin here. And you'll see this is actually a flash of UV light. And it's going to show us how well the sunscreen that's on her face actually is protecting her. Remember, better protection looks dark. So let's look at the results. So this is Cassie all the way to the left. You can see no sunscreen. And what UV light does is it actually enhances some of the discolorations and the melanin that's picking up the light that looks dark. So you can see all of the sunspots actually a little better with no sunscreen at all. The middle picture is the powder sunscreen. So you can see really not that much darker, not a lot of change from the first photo. And then all the way to the right, we have the liquid sunscreen that we put on, the traditional cream broad spectrum SPF. You can see how much darker her face looks.
And I'm curious, in retrospect, it seems like the liquid clearly did a really good job, but when the areas where it's lighter, is that just because not enough sunscreen was put on there?
Cassie, do you want to?
Probably. I was using a very small mirror. So, yeah, I've never been a great sunscreen applier.
And actually, studies have shown that even with traditional cream sunscreens, people only apply 25 to 50% of what they should be applying to get the SPF on the label. Let's look at Caitlin's results too, because she's a little bit more olive toned. So I think it's interesting to see here, you see there's a little less contrast with no sunscreen because she has that background pigment picking up the UV light. The middle picture looks very similar, you can see with the powder, to no sunscreen at all. A little bit darker, but then even with the liquid in Caitlin, you can see how much darker it is. So one study came out that actually showed that with powder sunscreens, you would need to apply 14 times the amount of powder to actually get the SPF on the label that most women actually apply.
So it sounds like your recommendation is to really be wary of the powdered sunscreens. I'm curious, in your estimation, let's just say you're using an SPF 30 sunscreen and you're putting it on your face. How much should you be putting on your face? Is it, you know what, put a quarter size amount in your palm? Because I think most of us are failing.
Yeah, and so a quarter size is a good start. Interestingly, to get the actual SPF on your label, you need to apply an ounce, which is a shot glass full of sunscreen to all exposed
We've
areas.
shown that it isn't.
What I tell my patients is if you're putting your sunscreen on and you put it in your hand, double that amount, and that's actually what you should probably.
Well, I mean, we all know what a shot glass is, but I think all of us are falling short of that amount.
It also highlights, ladies out there, a lot of my female friends think that they're protecting their skin when they put powder on. And I'm not even talking about powder sunscreens. So if the powder sunscreens failed miserably in that test, you have to think that just regular old powder, which sadly I am wearing right now, is not going to protect me or you from the sun.
It's true, and you really have to look at what's in it. You're really looking for micronized zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. And remember, if you're really using your sunscreen as a powder primarily, you might be inhaling a lot more chemicals to put the amount you need to get that SPF on the label. So if you're using the powder, just layer it on top of your traditional cream sunscreen, and then you'll be much better protected.
Really great lessons for all of us. Thank you so much, ladies, for testing that out. Dr. Batra, great information.